Alright, so we have some amazing news when it comes to the ABK deal. You know, the Activision Blizzard and Xbox Microsoft deal that apparently Sony is trying to block. So we have Brazil's government talking about Sony and not needing to protect them. We have Sony going around crying about how this Activision Blizzard deal is going to hurt them. And trust me, there's a lot of information here. This deal is only getting better and better as the weeks go on. Let's get into all the details because there's a lot here. Alright, so you know the drill. If you like the content, hit that subscribe button and that like button. And if you want to be notified on future videos, hit that small little bell icon. And if you want to go that extra mile to support the channel, hit that join button. All the support is greatly appreciated. Alright, so I just want to jump right into this because right now there is a lot of legislation and a lot of people going head to head with Activision Blizzard and Microsoft trying to see if this close to $70 billion deal is going to go through. And one of the companies we talk about a lot regarding this deal is, funny enough, Sony's PlayStation, because Jim Ryan, all the people around PlayStation have been going around trying to talk this deal out of existence because they think it's going to hurt their gamers, their profits, and most of all, their company and the money that they can make to line their pockets. And right now, there's a lot of governments in court talking about this and trying to see if this deal is going to go through. And one of those countries is Brazil. And this just came out where Brazil talks about the deal, talks about what it means for the industry, and talks about what it means for Sony's PlayStation. So I'm just going to get into exactly what they say. This is point 5 of the documentation, and it was brought out, and it's been across the internet, social media, and trust me, they absolutely body slam Sony. So here's what's said. 5. Furthermore, it is important to highlight that the central objective of CADE activities is the protection of competition as a means of promoting the well-being of Brazilian consumers, and not the defense of particular interests of specific competitors. After all, one cannot lose sight of the fact that the holder of the legal assets protected by law number blah 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 is the collectivity and not the competitor of economic agent as an individual entity. In this sense, although it is recognized that part of the users of PlayStation consoles from Sony could decide to migrate to Xbox in the event that Activision Blizzard games, and especially Call of Duty, become exclusive to the Microsoft ecosystem, SG and CADE does not believe that such a possibility represents in itself a risk to competition in the console market as a whole. That is one of the biggest kneecap hits I've ever seen a government agent and everybody doing to Sony right now. Because we have to admit, we have seen Sony fly across the world, go to all these other agencies. Jim Ryan has gone to Europe and tried to plead their case of why this deal shouldn't go through. All the while, they are buying studios themselves. Sony, PlayStation, have bought close to 6 or 7 studios the last year and a half. So while they're going around talking about this, Microsoft is sitting quietly, buying up publishers, and trying to make their own ecosystem worthwhile for consumers. So Sony, meanwhile, is locking down games, money-hiding games, and locking down content on third-party games that are on other platforms. So I don't understand the hypocrisy, but the biggest thing about this is that Brazil sees this as a funny thing that they're not going to defend a competitor. This is a direct competitor to the console space of what Xbox and PlayStation are doing. So it is not in their interest to protect PlayStation users as a whole. It's not in their interest to protect Sony's money and PlayStation's profits. That's what I loved about this, because while people are going and might migrate to Xbox, that does not deter from competition. That actually promotes competition. It promotes PlayStation and Sony to actually compete in the space that Call of Duty fights in. It promotes them to make games that actually could become a battle royale, that could become a first-person competitor. It's the reason they bought Bungie. They are going to bring live service games into their platform, which is something that Jim Ryan, Herman Hurst, and all these other people and executives at Sony have talked about. And funny enough, they are going to bring these games day and date to PC, which is something Herman Hurst talked about. And that is going to happen in the near future. It's not going to be a year cadence. It's not going to be 2 years later. Those big service games that they're going to make that are multiplayer centric are coming to PC day and date. They're going to come to PlayStation, but they're not going to come to Xbox. That is going to be the differentiating decision that is going to show why Brazil made the decision they did. that Call of Duty, even though it's going to be owned by Microsoft, even if it leaves PlayStation, even if PlayStation users migrate over to Xbox, it doesn't matter because that's competition. That is going to be the driving force of what Microsoft is talking about here. And it's the driving force that we've been seeing for several months. Microsoft has talked about Sony blocking people from putting games on Game Pass, blocking entire developers, entire publishers, and signing contracts to prevent the growth of such a consumer-friendly item, which is Xbox Game Pass on console and PC. So when you see all of this, what does it mean? Well, it means that all these legislations, all these people that are looking at this is going to use this as a catalyst to start promoting why this deal can go through. Sony's starting to lose this battle. They put up a good fight. Jim Ryan's flying around collecting frequent flyer miles, trying to convince people that this deal isn't good and crying all over the place. But it's not going to do anything, especially with Brazil doing all of this. They're coming down and talking about this, saying that PlayStation is just doing this for their own benefit. They're doing it because, truthfully, they think they can't compete. Well, that's not the government's issue. That's your issue. That's not Microsoft's issue. That's your issue. You need to compete. You need to go see if you can make a game that competes with Call of Duty, that competes with Apex Legends, and competes with Fortnite and all these other BR games and shooter games that are out there. Riot does it with League of Legends, Riot does it with Valorant, and of course, Blizzard does it with Overwatch, and of course, Activision does it with Call of Duty. All of these games are extremely popular. All of these publishers built their games from the ground up. Sony looks like they just don't want to do that. They're afraid of losing the profit that Call of Duty gives them every single year, which, if you look at the numbers, they would lose a lot of money if they lost Call of Duty, because a lot of people don't really care about the exclusives PlayStation has. They care about the big AAA third-party games that all of their friends are playing. So all these people that are running around saying that PlayStation is the console to be because of its exclusives are completely wrong. Do they have great games? Of course. Do I want to play them? I am going to play them. Do I love them? Yes, I'm playing Days Gone. I played all of their exclusives. I love them. But it is not the reason why people buy PlayStation in the majority. The majority of people buy PlayStation because they can play Call of Duty, GTA, and all those other online games with their friends. And that includes those free online games like Apex Legends and Fortnite. So when they lose Call of Duty, which they get 30% of every sale on, it's going to hurt them. Not to mention all the microtransactions they get from those games and those marketplaces that Activision and Blizzard provide. Those are going to go away in the next few years. And don't get me wrong, we know that Phil Spencer talked about this. We know that he gave a more than wealthy cadence of about 3 years, if not extending the contract to keep Call of Duty on their platform or PlayStation's platform, something that no one has ever had to do in the industry. Now that Sony's crying and trying to axe this deal, I can see that kind of go out the window. I can see Microsoft playing hardball, and after this ruling by Brazil, it is only going to get harder for Sony to actually make an argument that makes sense, because so far, like we've talked about for weeks and weeks and months, Sony doesn't have an argument, they don't have a leg to stand on, and none of their arguments hold water. So I don't know who's going to listen, especially since Brazil just completely rocked them. And Xbox and Microsoft has completely rocked PlayStation to its core. So I want to know what everybody else thinks about this. Because while the deal is happening and everything's going through, what are you thinking as fans? Are you surprised that Sony's fighting this hard to keep Call of Duty? Is it really that important to the platform to have Call of Duty? Wasn't it their first party games that really drove home why people bought this? Or was that all kind of nonsense and it's really about Call of Duty and all the free-to-play games and the games that most people play all the time, which is like GTA, Fortnite, Apex Legends, Battlefield, Call of Duty, all those games? Go down below and let me know. And I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, please hit that subscribe button and that like button. The support helps out the channel more than you know. And give me a follow on Twitter at Zocker87. I'm always on there talking games and sharing my latest videos. Plus, I love interacting with everyone there, so get on Twitter and let's talk about gaming. Also, follow me on Xbox Live. My gamertag is Zocker87, just like my channel name. See what games I'm playing, and let's compete in achievements for the month. So right now, I've been going crazy on video games. I have about almost 30 hours in Days Gone, so I'm getting close to beating that. And I gotta say, I'm really enjoying it. I enjoyed the horde, I enjoyed fighting, I enjoyed doing all the combat, especially with the mouse and keyboard. The game just feels so much better on PC. Not to mention with the PC I have, it runs at like 90 to 110 frames per second at max settings, 4K, everything, all the bells and whistles. So I'm having a great time with that. It feels so much better than the PlayStation controller I was playing on it before. So I'm giving that game a little bit higher credit. I think it's really well done, and I think that Sony Bend should get a new game that they can make AAA because they have a lot of promise as a studio. And I've been playing a bunch of other games on Xbox. I've been playing Little Nightmares 1. I've been jumping into Dante's Inferno through back compat. I've been kind of in this hack and slash mode because I started playing God of War again on the Steam Deck, and I'm talking about the old God of Wars, the number ones from the PS2 era. So I'm going through those again, getting ready for God of War Ragnarok, and I've also been playing games like Warhammer Space Marine because I'm just looking forward to that sequel that's coming out in a few years. I'm just having fun on the Steam Deck, I'm having fun on my Xbox, and I'm having fun on my PC. I gotta say, man, I'm a gaming machine right now. I'm having a lot of fun with it, so I hope you are doing the same because I think we're in the golden age of gaming. I've been jumping into a lot of PC games, a bunch of console games, and then throwing the Steam Deck where I'm just chilling or I don't have my computer or my Xbox. Man, oh man, does it make it that much better that I can just game wherever I want, when I want, and how I want. But let me know what you're playing. Are you playing something on your Xbox? Are you playing something on your PlayStation 5? Or are you on your PC playing something? Or do you have a Steam Deck and you're playing something? Go down below because I really want to know what people are playing on their Steam Deck because I'm always looking for something to play on it because I just love that device so much. But that's all for now. Thanks for watching, and until next time, remember, enjoy your gaming. Later.